But it's all good. Welcome back to Daybreak. And you know, Wednesday we want to switch it up a little bit. So Wednesday we always talk about health, nutrition. But we want to talk about health that is a different kind of health. A personal, having a healthy space around you, healthy branding. Yeah, that's it's just a play on words, but really, one of the most you hear people throw around mantras like dress the way you want to be addressed, repackage yourself, branding yourself. These are some words that are very popular right about now, especially in the online space. You see people curating their Instagram pages, wanting to look a certain way, to send a certain message, to be able to approach my brands, etc. Now, we're going to jump into the nitty-gritty. Allow my lovely guest to introduce herself and her accolades.
In a good mood today.
Oh, yes,
Thank you for having me. My name is Ndenya Masharia.
Yes.
I am an image consultant and etiquette consultant as well. I train individuals of high net worth and corporates in 3 main areas: appearance, behavior, and communication. And now recently we've added D for digital and your online real estate. Basically what we're trying to do is help people work on their personal brands or their corporate brands through the people that are in those corporates. And that's my accolades. I do many other things.
Right.
I'm passionate about young people, so I do have a mentorship program for young people.
Oh, nice.
Because I think it's important to help the younger generation coming up. And I have an academy that trains people who want to become image consultants.
Absolutely amazing. So when you talk about, you know, like I said, different people talk about dress the way you want to be addressed.
Yes, yes.
Most people, unless they're going for
something,
an interview or something.
Something. Let's say this.
Yes.
Growing up, we're told to wear best clothes on
Sunday.
So what happens on the other days of the week? The random Saturday, you're in your favorite supermarket wearing your kulipa ushuru ni kujitegemea t-shirt and your that's the swag. You should cut some matutas. Fence ni singenge. That one. Then you bump into, if you're single, you bump into that person you've always wanted to bump into or meet. You know the spice. What goes through your mind? You wish you could duck somewhere.
Yes.
Or you find that business person who you've been saying that you have a biashara, you know, but you look like
not a biashara.
Right. So we say that you never get a second chance to make a first impression, and those impressions are made every single day of the week. The other thing we like to say is that people give money to people who look like they have money. If you look BBD, broke, busted, and disgusted, you think you're going to solve your life's problems fast.
Yes, before you
do what we've asked you to do.
Right.
And so we're not saying buy expensive clothes, no. We're saying that your appearance matters. People make a judgment about us 55% based on how we look.
Okay.
38% is the tone of our voice, and then 7% is your words. How clever you are, what schools you went to, how many degrees you have, only accounts for 7%. So appearance is critical. It's critical.
So if you say 55 and then the other percentage is
38 for the tone of your voice.
For the tone of your voice.
This is where we talk on the phone. So people will call your business before they actually meet you physically.
Right.
And they'll speak to somebody or they'll speak to you.
Okay.
How you sound, people who, you're like, you're like, umelala.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah.
Ni nani?
Yes.
Then we're like, is this person who they say they are? Are they worth what they say they are? So that's the tone of voice. And then your 7% is your words. So by the time we get to the words, I know a lot of us who are believers, we say God looks at the heart. That same scripture says man looks where? At the outward,
appearance, right.
So it's important. We call it our visual communication. How we dress, how we look. So keeping ourselves well-groomed, wearing nice clothes that are clean, and then knowing what language is for what. So for example, a business suit is the language for business. It's an international language. You go to wherever. You've seen the president in New York. He's in a suit. Why? Because that's the language of business. He didn't go with his nini.
His famous Mombasa shirt.
His famous nini.
Even if it looks like a flag,
nice,
a butterfly.
Right. But because he's going there on certain matters, there's a certain way to dress. And so that's what we say.
But what about, there are people who argue when it comes to dressing, and I know the point you're making, but there is a counter argument where people argue and say, but kuna wale watu wenye wako na pesa wakaingi nikawa wako na pesa. Mark Zuckerberg anavanga t-shirt na jeans.
Two very important things said there. Watu wale wako na pesa. So the day you have money,
you do what you want.
Utakuwa na pesa, they do whatever you want. We'll come in and say those are holy slippers. However, when we look at it, Mark Zuckerberg, he'll wear his t-shirt and jeans, which is his personal, that's the brand that they have chosen for him. However, when he goes to Capitol Hill to defend Facebook for stealing our data,
yes,
and Dungaile, there's a certain way to dress in certain instances, in certain places. And so if you want to be respected in certain areas, you must do what is appropriate for those areas. So I'm not saying wear a suit when you're going to watch the Arsenal game. No. Right. And it's the same with even the players. Messi will look wonderful on the pitch in his sportswear. But when he goes to win the award,
and a suit.
Kuna dress code. So we're saying that follow the dress code. It's called emotional intelligence, knowing what to wear when.
All right. So now, most people will say that is very expensive. If I have to look a certain way, yes, it's going to take some sort of investment. And that's why Sunday best was a thing. Your interview suit is a thing. Your wedding suit, or which doubles up as your interview suit sometimes. Yeah. So like, how do you make sure that every day, like, you're projecting an image of, especially if you're jobless?
I'm a big encourager for uniform.
Right.
I mean, find a look that works for you and wear it the entire time. If it's, you have that one suit, but for every interview you wear that one suit. You don't need to go and buy a new one.
Right.
And what we say is you must have a capsule wardrobe. So not many things, because also there are people who, their closets are full, but when they're invited to an event, the first thing they say is,
Sinangu.
What am I going to wear? I have nothing to wear.
Right.
Yet their closet is full. And so the aim is not to have many things. The aim is to have good things that you can wear often. And so you have the good suit that you can wear to. In fact, I usually say that same wedding suit can be worn for all the other functions. Yes. You don't need 10 other suits. The business suit, if you have a good business suit, you can wear it multiple times. Just change the shirt, change the tie, or wear a tie, don't have a tie. So different ways to have a capsule wardrobe that then works for you.
Right.
Even shoes. How many pairs of feet do we have? One.
Yes.
So how many pairs of shoes do you need? Not 100?
Hello, ladies.
Even the men nowadays. Tukikuja kwako, we may be shocked. You have a room for a nene.
I am struggling. I need to reward myself.
And that's the thing. But you only have one pair of feet. You only wear one pair of shoe at a time. And you need to know, if it's the business look, the nice pair of shoe that's lace up tells us that you have you're using the other side of the brain. It tells us that this is the type of person you are. Yeah. So that's okay. That's for the A, appearance. Right. Then B is behavior. How we carry this physical body, how we conduct ourselves. So you're at an interview, where do you put your hands? No, you've done the right thing. What you've done actually is called a low steeple. Right. It's a serious form of communication. It means you're paying attention to what I'm saying. If you want to take even to the next level, you put it up here. Okay. Like, Nasikiza.
It looks like ninasikia. Ibra kibra, sinaona nakusikia.
Unasikia, you're paying attention. Right. Lakini visi uko yo umechill
in the middle of a meeting. Most people do that when they are rebellious katikati ya mkutano kuambia wadosi kwamba ai, it's a rap. I'm a church. Pastor.
Right? Or even the closed body language. If someone tells you the thing is 50 million, immediately you'll be like, 50. Yeah. So the aim is that you always have open body language, how you carry yourself, that you have your head held high, that you have your chest out, that you walk with confidence. Because confident people, it's not even the fact that they have a lot of money, it's the fact that they know how to carry this physical body. And how we treat this physical body now tells us how it's going to behave 10 years from now.
Right.
So the whole aspect of your gestures, your expressions, and then now there's the mask. So we'll only see it through your eyes, unless like now where we have our masks removed. But your body language plays a key role in how you are perceived. The other thing about body language is we call etiquette, for dining etiquette, and around food. We know the people who didn't eat sausages at home by how they serve at the buffet. What were sausage sitter?
Yes.
Thinking that there's no one coming after you. can tell your personality by how you interact around food.
Right.
If the food comes to you or if you go to food. Those
I never thought about it that way. So what does you going to food say?
It says that it's usually from a place of lack.
Okay,
so
okay. You're like, I don't know when it's going to happen again.
Hapa lazima ni protect chakula yangu na niende kwa chakula juu sipatangi chakula. So you want food to come up to you. That's the proper way, especially when you're out in the town. Not when if you're with your boys out in wherever it is, that's a different case. And we do have different etiquette for Africa. I will say, when people come here and we offer them the ugali and the samaki, we expect them to wash their hands and then dig in, because that's the culture here. Right. But if you're in Rome with the fork and knife, we expect you to know how to, not to stab the nyama like, you know.
Yeah. So when it comes to some of these things, especially on behavior and posture and all of these, like if you could help. So what does say posture do? Let's say I'm meeting with my boss. How do I communicate that? Enye nakusikia, and I'm receptive to what you say.
Right. Yeah. And that's, for example, if it's over a table, your hands are on the table, never under the table. You only have your hands under the table when you're eating food. Or
you're guilty.
That too. So we want to see hands.
Right.
So people who put their hands behind their back, or you hide your hands.
There's the one for, you know, if you're standing hand behind back,
that's like a more thing you are
a respectful thing.
It's not respectful.
So that one might be a trauma response.
That one is childhood nene kuna vile.
Yes.
But a lot of people even put their hands in front of their
yes, like this.
Their in front of their crown jewels.
Yes.
Protecting their generations. And that is only for soccer players, you know, when they're given the free kick. Hands on the side. If you're standing, hands to the side, head facing forward. I mean, if you want to put your hand somewhere, they could come in front of your chest in probably a V. That's another way of just showing a sign of respect. But the most important is eye contact. I know, again, our culture, we are told, usiangalie mwalimu. You always, you know, but in the world of business, we want to see your eyes. Eyes are the windows to the soul, and they tell us what's going on. And especially now with the mask mandates, that's what all we see. Is all we see. We can see whether you're happy through your eyes. We can see whether you're sad or struggling, all through just by looking at the eyes. And so if you're meeting with your boss or you're there for an interview, what we want to see is that you're alert, you're awake, and you're ready for action, you're ready for business, or you're listening. That's another thing. Like now you're listening to me, you're nodding, you're paying attention. You're not sleepy from Kwalijana Kuliendaje.
That's right, yeah.
And so that's what the body language conversation is about. That how you walk. If you're walking, dragging your feet, we think you're lazy, we think you're, not serious. If you're running, we think you're late, or you're, like you're always scatterbrained, as opposed to if you're walking briskly, like you know what time it is. Right. And so that's critical in terms of your behavior.
So when you go to because I know many people unfortunately the situation in the country is many people are jobless, right? So they're really applying and they want to go to the interview. And what are some of the things you should do? I know some of them tulifundishwa that when they ask you what your weakness is, you have to say something that you can turn into a strength. Because like, what is your weakness? I think I work too hard.
Well, that leads us to communication, which is the third one. The ABC's communication is how do we communicate? Now, communication is directly linked to digital, which is your online real estate, social media. So then you come for the interview, you have presented, I say, lose the bahasha. Like, do you know how many bahashas there are going to be? There are going to be very many other bahashas. Find a folder, spend some extra money so that yours is above the rest. When you do your resume, make sure that you tell the truth. Because in today's world, we are going to go to www.mutandao and we're going to check what type of person you are before you even walk into the place. So you tell us, my hobbies are playing golf. You and golf?
Nazi, leo. Kitu unajua kucheza ni kuinua na ni bia boro.
Right, and so I tell people you must be very careful about what it is that you put on your online space, that digital space, because a lot of people are losing opportunities because the online space is not relatable to what they are saying or even how they carry themselves. So that's critical. So speaking is very important. A lot of us, you'll see the younger generation, we start a sentence like this, alafu inaenda unajua vile o sijui nini. Read the mood. If people are speaking to you in English, practice your English sentences from start to finish. If they speak to you in the mixed languages and they want to say unajua, unaelewa hii nini, then you can go into that and make sure that you have your best foot forward. Practice what it is that you're going to say. A lot of young people are saying that there are no opportunities, but it's because when you get the opportunities, you haven't prepared, you haven't practiced, you haven't put in the work, and it takes work to answer questions correctly. And they're usually frequently asked questions. Tell us about yourself.
Yes.
You know, when I was, no, tell us about yourself. My name is Ndenya Masharia. I am an image consultant. I train individuals and corporates in these 3 main areas, and this is how I think I can bring value to your organization. They'll be like, okay, where do we sign?
But so tell us about yourself. You, because on there are sometimes what one I can have the same thing on the resume that they now go on. Is it regurgitate hapo wanasema sasa? In 1954 I graduated from Harvard Law School. Yeah, so you need to do you do like what, almost something like the 15, what do you call it, 50-second elevator
30-second commercial, which is your elevator pitch.
Yes.
So you've practiced in 30 seconds, and the elevator pitch, the concept is, if I was to meet you on ground floor in an elevator, you'd be able to sell what it is that you do and how I can benefit from that by the time we get to 5th floor. That's the elevator pitch. That's what it means. That in that short space of time, you will have sold to me what it is that you do and how I can benefit from it. By the end of it, I will be asking either for your card or for your number. That's how that works. And so it's important for people to practice the frequently asked questions. And the first question they'll ask you is, tell us about yourself. Yes. So practice. I am so-and-so, and not my names are. My name is Ndenya Masharia, even if you have 17 names. Like me, Willis Wayne, Edwin Opio, or Tony Raburu. That is my name. Yes. My names are. Yes. Your name is Jina Lako Ni, and in most cases for business, you use 2 names. Right. Willis Raburu. And don't say Willis Raburu, which is what Kenyans do, Willis Raburu. Then we're like, if there are Mzungus in the group, if there are people who are not Kenyan, they don't hear the names. And so you want to say Willis Raburu. Then we know those are 2 names. Those Kenyans zinashikana. So you want to be able to practice and practice. So what is it that you do? Practice that. Don't tell us your life history. Tell us in 30 seconds. What do you do? And how do you bring value? Right. Or what are you passionate about? And how do you bring value to the organization? How do you bring value to the people? Once you practice that and you do it over and over again, and practice with your relars, practice with people in the house, stand there, do it, repeat it. Don't say, nitajua vile nitasema nikifika. There's nothing like that. You'll fika there, and then by that hard drive will be spinning, searching. For what it is. What it is, what it do. Because it won't, because placed under stress or under duress, people sometimes forget. That's right. And your best memory may not even serve you correctly. But if you've practiced what we call it muscle memory, it just comes. Like for because you've said it over and over. You've said it over and over, so it just comes. It's easy for it to just come. Right. Yeah.
And so, because there are people who, this happens to me a lot sometimes, especially being in the entertainment space and the show, to see, you'll meet somebody who will start by telling you, Willis, sacha sasa nikwambie, tuko watatu nyumbani, na huku nyumbani mimi ndio wa mwisho, na hawa wawili wa juu wameniwacha, and all they want to do really at the end of the day ni so nilikuwa na hii ngoma. So clearly they need the 30 second commercial.
And what we can do, because you're in that entertainment space, is provide training. Because I'll tell you, not everyone knows how to do it, or does it come naturally. And so what we do is offer training. And I'm happy to give maybe 1 free consultation to your best artist to teach them how to do it. And then we can record it and others can see what they're doing. Because some things don't come naturally, especially if you are not oriented that way, or even based on what you're exposed to. Because there are people who will spend their time watching, like YouTube has all the things. If you want to see how to, they're there. But people will spend their time, so for us, it's helping, especially people in the music industry, in the SME space, understand that their personal brand is as important as what it is they do. So the guy could be a wonderful msanii, but how he presents himself is not wonderful. And what will happen is, even if someone wants to sign him up for a contract, they'll ask who's the manager. Because they don't think that this guy will be able to even to read the fine print or understand. But there's a way that they can conduct themselves and carry themselves that people will be like, you know what, this guy knows what time it is. This one we can trust him. This one we can give him the brand ambassadorship and he can represent us really well. So that's, I think, one of the things that we can do to help. And that people should know that there are people who offer personal branding training, that it's available. The same way you go for training to learn how to exercise, the same way you speak to a nutritionist to learn how to eat the right things. There are people who have mastered the art of helping you create a perfect portfolio, do a great profile, have your brand say the things that you wanted to say, and then now moving to the online space, which that's where a lot of people
go wrong. That's where you go wrong, like a rat on the highway. That space is there's a little bit of a thin line. So how do you still remain authentic, right? Because there are people who have, you will not catch even one hivi imwe hata picha moja bila makeup. Everything is curated. There's like a space, and then there's a day for this, and then all the pictures, there's a photo shoot. All right. So when is the, this is just my view, when is there like the uko wapi ukikula, where is the authenticity, I guess? So how do you navigate that space where you want to remain authentic and true to yourself? I like eating, I like working out, I listen to music occasionally, but I also want to be approached by the brands. And I think, first of all, it's understanding your brand, your audience, who it is that you're targeting, and what it is that you want them to see of you. And yes, you're right that some people have taken it to an excessive level where it's become almost like that's not really who they are. If you met them without makeup, you would pass out. However, I think that it's important for people to understand that what they put out, first of all, there's no such thing as, this is my personal page, because the world is looking. The minute you're online, before we used to say, the minute you leave your house, people are watching you. And so come out, step out, show up in a way that you want to be seen and in a way that you want people to appreciate what it is that you bring. Same thing with your online space. Now, authenticity comes by people understanding that the world today wants to interact with humans. Part of the reason the computer always asks you, are you a human? Because there's a lot of fake, and so we want to see the human side of people. And so that would be the encouragement to the ones who have extremely curated information, to also know that their audience is looking for the human side of them. And the human side of them can be brought out in different ways. If you don't want it to be a permanent fixture, it can be in the stories. If you don't want it to be a permanent fixture, it can be in the things that disappear after 24 hours. So that then your audience can still engage with you and know that this person actually wakes up looking like the rest of us, and they have a process that they get to look the way that we see them looking. What we are against is you not caring. And writing things that you will regret later, whether it's against other people, other communities. Like now we're in an election season, there's a lot of energy and heat, where you'll write stuff today that will affect you next year. It won't affect you today. Your candidate may lose or win, but the stuff will affect you later. That people will look at your information and be like, we can't hire this person because they're against this community and that's who we have in our office. Yet you've missed out on a really good opportunity. And so it's so important. And then you don't have to be on all the platforms. You can choose what platforms work for you and which ones help to bring out the best of your voice and of what it is that you're bringing. The other thing is, what are you selling? There are a lot of people hustling on the
hustle who we can't really tell what they're selling. Those people for DM me for price.
For prices.
DMing you for price.
DM you for prices.
DM you for price. You've already missed out on opportunities.
Right.
Because put the price there at 60 Gs so that me who can't afford 60 Gs knows I don't waste your time. But DM me for price, you'll be filled with many DMs of people who just wanted to know, and then they're like, your bae.
Yeah.
You know, so put the prices out there, put your information out there. Let it be clear from 3 posts what it is you're about and what it is that you promote, what it is you're selling, if you're selling something. Again, a lot of young people are like, oh, life's hard, there's no biashara, there's no work. The world has become an online, global village, literally. You can get work from Singapore. You don't even need to wait for work from here. So it's important that you position yourself well. Many companies are looking to come into Africa. We are the new kid on the block.
Yes.
But you can't be found. You may be offering the best service in the world. You're nowhere. Nowhere to be found. Where you are, Whining Street, with the rest of the whiners saying, nikupaya, the price of street, And I'm not saying that things are not challenging, but we say when they're going get stuff.
The tough get. Yes, sir.
Yeah, you work on those muscles. Social media is free. Safaricom has even offered free mutandao for the small to Facebooks and whatever it is. So there's no excuse why you should be on series the whole day and then saying that there's no biashara or there's no work. It's about planning your time well and saying, today I'm going to hit X, Y, Z, these number of people, these number of engagements, these number of places will know that my business exists because what, it's online. You're not even traveling. No, those days you have to enter a bus. Today you don't. Half the time people send your resumes and things online today. There's no even physical, you know.
Yeah,
so,
especially now with COVID, guys would do interviews online and all this stuff.
Exactly. And so I say, have a good profile picture on your social media page. Don't have a picture of a tree on your, or an egg. Why am I interacting with an egg? For what? Or why?
What about those who say, like, a lion? Okay, that's my favorite animal.
Oh, really? I hope you don't have it on your master.
No. Sina katika mtandao, nimeweka katika face yangu. But what about, like, you know, that?
And having an avatar.
Yes,
an avatar should be for people in the tech world. Those that I can forgive for having an avatar, but it should be an avatar related to what it is that you do. So if you're if you're having tech services, having an avatar is cool. However, if we're dealing with you and you want us to interact with you, want to see your picture. So go, there are many studios around, take a good professional picture, put it there. Then when people call, because today's world, Truecaller pulls up, shows us who you are
and how you've been saved.
And how you've been saved. Half the people
so
you're like,
Willis Mujanja.
Willis Wamaka. And then you're busy telling us, Mimi Bazoo. Like, no. Who even say, I'm a con man. You know, people have been saved in strange ways. So go on Truecaller, change your profile, check what has been saved. Because whoever saved you first is what we find. And then have a nice professional picture. You could even have a statement about what value you offer on your... All the platforms offer those opportunities for people to put out their best foot forward. Then, when you answer the phone, how do you answer the phone? A lot of us have our phones numbers online. So I can't answer, Nani mwenzangu? I've seen people miss opportunity. I remember this one girl had asked for a job. You know, they actually know each other, and I'm like, hey, get me a job over here. Then you're like, okay, so I'll try and hook you up. Then you go to your boss, and you're like, baby, this chick would be really good as a co-host. And so the boss was like, give me her number. Let me call her. Now, you didn't tell the chick that the boss was
going to call. Right.
So she picked for, who is it? Who is it? The boss was like, we can't have this at our organization. Wow. I'm sorry. That time, after she found out who it was, she was like, oh, hi. She changed her tone of voice. Hi, oh, sorry. After she had that, this is so-and-so from Royal Media. So, she changed, hi, hello. Oh, So for me, you must be careful that the world is looking for you, and if they find you, will they find you in the right way?
Right.
So if you haven't woken up, don't pick the call. We start asking you, umeamka?
Yeah.
Right? So for me, it's critical that you recognize that the personal brand goes beyond the one day when we see you on Sunday dressed nicely. It's an everyday thing that you wake up knowing that you're going to interact with people, you're going to meet with people, and that online people are going to engage with you from different parts of the world. And so again, sometimes for our artists, you want to cross borders, but your music has no subtitles, or it has no translations, or it has nothing. So the people will look and be like, skip, because I can't engage with this. It has nice pictures, but it has no, I can't understand what they're saying. And so as a result...
Yeah, because I see, I've actually seen a couple of artists who have been signed, you know, by like Universal and all this, and they're Kenyans. Because now wanaweka subtitle.
Lazima.
Jaribu.
You see, the Kenyan market is what? How many people? 50 million?
Right.
If we are conservative, and 50 million tumeongeza watoto na wazee. So active listeners, 16 million maybe. What is the global world? We're looking at what, 8 billion humans.
Yeah.
Out of those, if you go to certain countries, Brazil, you go to Asia, we're talking people consume in the billions. Means when your song crosses the border to Nini, we're talking a billion hits.
Right.
Or even at least 100 million.
Yes.
So if you want to prepare for that audience, don't think ati local, don't think ati here, ati oh, lazima ni. If you want to go global, then you have to have that global strategy and think about if that person interacts with my music. It's the way people like anime and
you know, you don't understand.
You engage, and how many people are interacting? We're talking billions. And so then the math moves from, imagine if you sold 100 million at a bob. They're downloading every week, skiza. At a bob.
It's a wrap. Uko sawa.
We will be running for governor.
Mimi nitatumia pesa yangu. Wacha nisiongee vibaya. But it's quite you know, an eye-opening experience listening to you rather, because I didn't know about the tone. So what tone, say again, trying to bring it down closer to the people. What tone do you communicate with, you know, like let's say your bosses, or, you know, your bosses. There's your bosses, your buddies, your parents, prospective. Do you just always have to be like...
Hello. Good afternoon. My name is Ndenya. Yes. Well, first of all, you know this. When you're speaking through a medium, so like here, when you're on air, what people will hear at home is very different.
Right.
Yeah?
Right.
And so I will have to raise my tone a little higher so that when it passes through the medium, when people hear me at home, they hear how I normally sound. This is a medium as well. And so when you're talking through the phone, I usually say, you want to raise your tone and you want to speak up, put a smile, because those things translate through the medium. When you're in person, now that's the other thing. If you're in a high-pitched, yelly sound, you know, when you hear the people with the high-pitched, what usually happens?
Like,
you switch off.
Yeah.
Actually, you enter screensaver mode and move on to other things. And so what you want to have is a tone that's pleasant for people to listen to, especially when you're making presentations or when you're speaking. Now, part of the reason I said you don't want to have your morning voice. You know the morning voice when you amka for... That's not a pleasant voice for people to want to interact with. So you must always think when you're about to pick the phone or when you're in a meeting, what's the tone you want to have? Part of the reason you see people doing because they're clearing their voice so that when they toa sauti ni nyororo. Same thing, you know, when you're in the music world, if you give us a song with groggy sounding bad tones, we're not gonna buy it. It's the sweet melodies and the sweet tunes that give you the ratings and give you, you know, so that's what the tone is about. And again, the tone is about practicing. It's about practicing. It's about practicing. Today I'm making a presentation and this is how I'm going to sound. Not, we were thinking.
We were thinking.
Okay? So it's important for people to be aware. And that's what this conversation is about, creating that awareness that don't just be random, don't just be, they will like me for the way I am. No, I'm sorry. You and Nani, same WhatsApp group.
Yes.
So we want to like you. People will judge you. They'll say whether they like you, whether they want to do business with you. You hear someone, you walk into the room and they're like, hey, that girl looks clever.
Yeah.
You know, that person looks. Then when you open your voice, your mouth to speak, we're like, hey, that person knows what you've done your homework. Means you can say, you know, it's 33%, 85%. We're like, hey, that one has done, you know. So the tone and the content will go hand in hand. But most importantly, the tone. You could be saying rubbish, but with a very nice tone.
Ask politicians.
10 over 10.
Wanasema vitu wamesimama wana, lakini shida kubwa pale. All right. Well, because we have a few minutes left, so if people want to contact you, find out where you are, how can they get in touch with you?
Mutandao. Ndenya Macharia on all platforms.
Right.
Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. I have a website, ndenya.com.
Right.
And my contacts are there. Now, people used to ask me, you put your number there. You're not afraid the whole world will call you. Usually, it's one person who will call. The rest are going to be like, watu wengi watampigia, sijui kama atakuwa na time, sijui what. But I do say, give us a shout. Let's see how we can help you engage with you to help you grow your personal brand. And so that's the plug. Everything you need, you find it online.
What's the website?
But for those who don't have bundles, 07 niwaambie 0722 595588 www.ndenya.com.
Ndenya.com.
Ndenya.com. NTHENYA. And for the Mzungus, Ndenya. Then you're going to do this, then you're going to do that. Ndenya.com. .com.
I like it. Thank you so much for taking time to talk to us. So many things and things that even I've picked up.
You must have me back, really.
We will.
I could be your co-host.
Itabidi sasa.
Kesho tufanye exercise.
Kesho ni kukula.
Oh, kesho ni kukula.
Kesho ni kukula.
Oh, we can do that too.
Ni kufinya.
Alafu Friday.
Then Friday sasa ni party.
Party after party. The party don't stop.
The party don't stop.
Takuleta msanii, niko na msanii.
Until curfew. Leta msanii.
Nileta wasanii. Hata mimi msanii.
Hata wewe ni msanii.
Cheki wase wanaanza kupiga.
Na mko serious.
Niko kwa studio.
All right, well, thank you so much, Ndenya. Make sure you follow her. Like she said, www.ndenya.com, Ndenya Macharia on all platforms. Make sure you follow her as well. Ukikosa yani useme, I will nilisahau. Yeah, you can just contact us and we'll reach out to her on your behalf. But thank you so much for taking time to watch. I hope that you've learned a few things. You've added to a few things. You've learned about your appearance, your behavior, communication. And sasa at least uko pahali. Ukienda for, especially kama leo ilikuwa siku yako ya kuenda job. I guess job interview rather. I guess you nailed it. You're lucky.
I'll give you the closing. If you look good, you feel good. If you feel good, you do good. If you do good, there's nothing you cannot change, not even the world.
Aya. Ni hayo tuko sasa. Peace and love. You know successful people like you and Manchester United. Situonane.